Hey everyone, my name is Marshall Mind, bringing you guys a brand new video, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my UFC 205 fight prediction, specifically the main event, Conor McGregor, who is the current featherweight champion of the UFC, versus Eddie Alvarez, who is the lightweight champion of the UFC. Now, Conor McGregor is going to attempt to do something that no one has ever done before in the UFC. He's going to attempt to capture a second belt while already champion in a different division. Now, that is very difficult to do because Conor McGregor is trying to do this in one of the most talented divisions in the UFC, and that is the lightweight division. And he doesn't just intend to get the belt and then leave. He intends to defend both belts at the same time. And that is the fact that Conor McGregor is really thinking like that. That really tells you just how mentally tough this guy is, and that tells you how talented Conor McGregor is. Now, with Conor McGregor in the past, what we've seen is a guy with a boxing-centered style of attack with a movement similar to karate style. He comes at you with open palms, right? His feet are spread apart, and he likes fighting from a kicking range. He's a boxer. He's a guy that likes to box, but he doesn't really fight from a boxing range. And he likes fighting from a kicking range because Conor McGregor is able to close the distance very, very effectively and very, very fast. He's extremely explosive, and his shots are very, very precise and accurate. In his first fight versus Nate Diaz, what we saw was that boxing center style with a karate style movement, and that's all he was doing. He was focusing completely on his boxing, and when that didn't work and he lost the first fight versus Nate Diaz, he came back. He came back a completely different kind of fighter. He had a boxing center style with a Muay Thai style of movement. With Muay Thai, the fighters are way more grounded in their movement style. They don't bounce around a little bit too much. And when they throw their shots, they set their feet. And when you set your feet like that, you're able to generate an incredible amount of power with those shots. In the first fight versus Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor landed some heavy strikes, or at least strikes that we thought were heavy. He was throwing a lot of overhand left. He landed a lot of straight left, but not one time did he drop Nate Diaz. In the second fight, when he showed up to the fight way more grounded, he wasn't bouncing around all over the place. His feet were set. He dropped Nate Diaz 3 times in the fight. The first time, he dropped him by parrying a jab and landing a nasty straight left. In the second round, he landed a nasty fake right hook followed by a left hook to drop Nate Diaz. Then he dropped him a third time with a straight through his guard. This is what Conor McGregor is able to do when he sets his feet, when he is focused on delivering shots as powerful as he possibly can. And I believe in this fight against a bigger man, not a bigger man when it comes to size, like overall size, but I'm talking a bigger man in the sense that he's going up a weight class and facing Eddie Alvarez, a man who is used to taking heavy shots from bigger fighters. He's going to need to set his feet. He is going to need to deliver his strikes as powerful and as precise as he possibly can. Now, just like the Nate Diaz fight versus Conor McGregor, this fight versus Eddie Alvarez is a fight that I believe might end up being decided by cardio. It might end up getting decided by cardio because both guys are not easy to put away. Conor McGregor is not an easy man to finish, and Eddie Alvarez is not an easy man to finish. We've seen Eddie Alvarez take heavy shots from the likes of Anthony Showtime Pettis, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, and in his championship fight against Rafael Dos Anjos, he ate quite a few shots, but none of these put him away. Conor McGregor, though, as powerful as he is, needs to realize this from the beginning of the fight. He needs to understand, just like he understood with Nate Diaz, that you're not just going to go out there, hit this guy once, and get him out of there. He needs to be very careful not to blow his wad. He needs to be very careful not to gas himself out. Now, we've seen Conor McGregor grow as a fighter. Like I said, in the Nate Diaz fight, he came in with a boxing-centered style and a karate-style movement in the first fight. In the second fight, we saw a brand new Conor, a completely different fighter. He was throwing leg kicks, he was throwing elbows, and his shots, his punches were set. His feet were set as he was throwing those shots, and that made those shots extremely powerful. Against Eddie Alvarez, who knows what Conor McGregor we're going to see. We might see the Conor McGregor that put away Jose Aldo come out there, hands forward, open palms, bouncing on his feet a little bit, looking to counter. Or we could see a Conor McGregor that faced Nate Diaz the second time. A Conor McGregor that pushes forward, takes the center of the cage, and looks to be aggressive, throwing very, very hard, precise shots. Now, against Eddie Alvarez, what kind of shots do I think will be successful for Conor McGregor? Well, Eddie Alvarez is an orthodox fighter. He's a conventional fighter, and because of that, that already makes things very complicated for him against Conor McGregor, who is a very, very good southpaw. The straight left is always there for Conor. It is always, always there. But there is something Eddie Alvarez likes to do in his fights that I think might pose some trouble for Eddie Alvarez. Occasionally, he would lunge in with his straight right, and when he does that, he ends up in a southpaw stance. When he ends up in a southpaw stance like that, that is a stance that Conor McGregor does the most damage with his left hook. When he faces southpaws, his left hook becomes extremely dangerous. He dropped Nate Diaz with that left hook. He was able to finish Dustin Poirier with that left hook, and we've seen him use that left hook very, very effectively against southpaws. So if Eddie Alvarez is going to go southpaw, he needs to keep his hands up at all times. He needs to understand that Conor McGregor has a shot selected for every single situation, every single stance you find yourself in. This man has an answer for it. Conor McGregor also fights extremely effectively when he is the one moving forward, when he's the guy pushing forward. That's when he can control the range. That's when he can keep you at the exact distance he wants to keep you and pick you apart from that range. He will be the bigger man in the cage, the bigger man in the sense of his height and reach. He will be bigger, he will be taller, and he's going to have a bigger reach than Eddie Alvarez. And I believe if Conor McGregor pushes forward like he always does against every single opponent, he will back Eddie Alvarez up. It is not that difficult to back him up, and he will be able to land that straight left repeatedly. Now, with Eddie Alvarez, what do I think he needs to do to win this fight? I think he needs to fight like a complete mixed martial artist, okay? He needs to box, he needs to kick, he needs to grapple, he needs to wrestle, he needs to use his Brazilian jiu-jitsu. When it comes to his takedowns, which there is absolutely no doubt, he will try to take Conor McGregor down at some point in that fight. I don't think he should go the route of pinning Conor McGregor against the cage, leaning on him, and trying to take him down against the cage. We've seen Conor fight. We've seen how difficult it is to get this guy down when you have him against the cage. He does very, very well defending those takedowns when his back is against the cage. Look at his fight versus Chad Mendes, for example. Most of the takedowns Chad was able to get were reactive takedowns, GSP style takedowns. I'm talking blast double legs when Conor McGregor is moving in with a shot. He moves in with that straight left, duck underneath, shoot a takedown, pierce in the middle, take him down. That is going to be his best bet. That is going to be the easiest way to get Conor McGregor to the ground. If he attempts to just push forward, grab him, pin him against the cage, he will waste a lot of energy trying to do that, and he might end up not taking Conor McGregor down. He also needs to try to take him down in the middle of the cage, because Conor does a great job of getting up when he takes him down using the cage. He does a great job of that. Another man that was able to take Conor McGregor down quite a few times using reactive takedowns was Dennis Siver. Dennis Siver was able to get him down a few times as Conor McGregor was going for a kick. He shot in the middle of it and got him down. So when it comes to takedowns, I believe Eddie needs to go with his reactive takedowns. Do not be too offensive with the takedowns. Wait until Conor initiates an attack. Then duck underneath, shoot for a takedown, and get this guy down. That is the most effective way to get him down. And when you get Conor McGregor down, look to keep him there. Keep him on the ground for as long as you possibly can. Take your time. Do not rush ground and pound. Do not leave too many openings for him to slide out and get right back up to his feet. Make it a wrestling center style of attack. Once you get him down, hold him down there and slowly pass the guard. Work your ground and pound and look for a submission. This is what Eddie needs to do in order to win this fight. Now, do I think Eddie Alvarez could crack Conor McGregor with a shot and put him away? Absolutely. He is a powerful fighter, make no mistake about it. He has tremendous amount of power in those hands. We saw that with how he put away Rafael dos Anjos, and we also saw that in his fight against Donald Cowboy Cerrone, a fight that, yes, he did lose, but he rocked Donald Cerrone quite a few times in that fight with punches to the head. If Conor McGregor does not pay attention to his defense, if Conor McGregor is not very careful, he is going to get rocked with something. We've seen him get rocked by Nate Diaz, and it is not out of the realm of possibility that he could also get rocked by a guy who hits as hard as Eddie Alvarez. Okay, so now that we've talked about both guys, who do I think actually wins this fight? In my opinion, I think Conor McGregor is going to win this fight. I think he wins this fight in the second round by TKO. I think he's going to win this fight because when you look at both fighters and you look at who is easier to hit, it is Eddie Alvarez. It is way too easy to hit him. If you watch his fight versus Rafael dos Anjos, more than 3 times, RDA was able to land what? The straight left. He was able to land that straight left repeatedly. And that is the shot that Conor McGregor lands the most in his fights. That is the shot that Conor McGregor is most accurate with. That is his most precise strike. And that is the strike that RDA was able to land on Eddie Alvarez repeatedly. RDA was a southpaw. Conor McGregor is a southpaw. And every single time RDA was able to land that shot, it was while Eddie was backing up. And who backs up fighters better than Conor McGregor? I think from the start of this fight, Conor McGregor is going to come out with open palms. He's going to push forward, and Eddie will have no choice but to back up. He's going to back up. He's going to try to look for those angles to land those shots, but Conor will stand his ground. Conor is going to keep him at a kicking range, and from that range, he's going to try to pick him apart. From that range, he will be able to see takedowns coming. From that range, he will have enough time to defend whatever shots Eddie Alvarez is going to throw at him. Eddie also throws a lunging jab, and that is the one shot that Conor McGregor loves to counter. He loves to slide back a little bit, parry that lunging jab, and counter with the lead, with the straight left. He did that repeatedly against Nate Diaz, and that is actually how he was able to drop Nate the very first time he dropped him in the first round. I don't think it's going to be hard or difficult to land those shots on Eddie Alvarez. I think from round number 1, he's going to get cracked. He's going to get hit. He's going to get hit over and over again. And I think he might try to get that takedown. He might waste way too much energy trying to get that takedown, and his conditioning might not hold up. The more you get hit, the less stamina you have. The more disoriented you are in there. The less intelligent you are in there because you're not thinking clearly. You start making mistakes that you usually don't make in fights. You start to panic. You start making mistakes in there. And I think Eddie Alvarez is going to end up making a mistake that's going to cost him. He might lunge in with a shot. Conor McGregor will slip one of those shots, crack him with a left hand, drop him. He might switch to southpaw when he shouldn't switch to southpaw. Conor will see that clean opening, lead with the jab, land the left hook, and drop him. Conor McGregor has so many weapons in his arsenal, and this guy is still improving. He is still adding tools to his arsenal. In his fight against Nate, we saw elbows, we saw leg kicks. Who knows what we're going to see this time? Every single time we see him, he is a completely different fighter. Now, that is my opinion. That is how I think the fight is going to end. I believe Conor McGregor puts him away in the second round. It won't happen in round number 1. If it happens in the first round, I will be blown away. But I don't think it will happen in the first round. I think the first round is going to be about Eddie's toughness. Conor is going to land some nasty shots on him. We're going to see how tough Eddie is. And in the second round, he won't be able to withstand those shots. He's going to get dropped with something. Conor is not going to be afraid of his jiu-jitsu like he was against Nate Diaz. Conor will get on top, pass his guard, land nasty shots on the ground, and finish him off by TKO. That is how I feel this fight is going to end. But all I am is a fight fan. All I am is a fight fan. I don't claim to know everything. All I am is a fight fan that I've watched Conor McGregor fight. I've watched Eddie Alvarez fight, and I think this is how this fight is going to end. But that's it. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think is going to happen. Who do you think is going to win this fight? What round do you think this fight is going to end? And how do you think this fight is going to end? Do you think Conor McGregor will be able to get that second belt? Do you think if he gets the second belt, do you think he will be able to defend 2 belts at the same time? Something no one else has ever done before. Let me know what your opinions are in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Be safe and have a wonderful day.